Welcome to the Love Your Story podcast. Today's episode is about joy. Men and women are that they might have joy, and there is a simple way to find it. It's all about paying attention to the in-between moments in our stories. You thought I was going to say gratitude, didn't you? Because that's a big one too. But these in-between moments, this is where the magic happens. Stay tuned for this quick reminder today about being present to the moments that bring you joy. And let's get 2019 started off on the best possible foot. We're not going to talk so much about those usual things like change and resolutions, but instead, let's just talk about finding the joy in our lives and living into it with gusto and new eyes. It's a great way to start off the new year. Stories are our lives in language. Welcome to the Love Your Story podcast. I'm Lori Lee, and I'm excited for our future together of telling stories, evaluating our own stories, and lifting ourselves and others to greater places because of our control over our stories. This podcast is about empowerment and giving you, the listener, ideas to work with in making your stories work for you. Story power serves you best when you know how to use it. A life story holds those big moments, the aha moments, the defining moments. The child is born, the lesson is learned, the new job is landed. The trip that started the domino effect is embarked upon. These are beautiful moments caught in the nets of memory. But the real magic isn't just here. The real magic is so much quieter. So quiet, in fact, if you don't open your eyes and heart, you miss the magic altogether. And that would be a shame, because this is the magic that makes joy the landscape. Let me explain. My favorite morning moment is sitting with a warm mug of vanilla chai tea. Delicious, comforting, and slow. It's magic every morning. And every morning I revel in the fact that I get the space and the taste and the comfort and just that moment. It's magic. I love blue sky days with trees full of green leaves. And as I walk my dog Rocky every morning, we walk around the block, I revel in the color. I purposefully pay attention and look up to see what color is the sky today. Joy and gratitude are like a deep sigh, because instead of being caught up in what I have to do or the latest stress while I walk around, because I could definitely tune out and be caught up in that, I stop and look and listen and say prayers of gratitude. I notice the sparkle of the sun off of a puddle, or the sound of kids playing and laughing, or the fresh air in my lungs, or my neighbor shoveling snow. The little things that we miss a million times a day just because we don't tune in. Now, things like laughing with my friends, really laughing, those belly laughs where you just find that joy. And then there's that 5-star moment of skiing a really great line. Or how about a really good kiss? A freshly mowed lawn or vacuumed floor, real smiles on my son's faces, quick and witty banter with my siblings. We sometimes start these text streams that just end up being so much fun and quirky and interesting. But they're my siblings and we know how to kick it around. Life's defining moments, the joyful spaces, they require a simple awareness. Or they pass in the fog of the day, and your real spaces of joy pass with it. While we wait for that something big, that huge accomplishment, that next big win, that unforgettable event, all of these beautiful magic moments go unnoticed if we don't actively look for them. My friend Tanya says that her list of small magic includes hugs from her nephew Henry, kisses from her nieces, being photobombed by her sister, smiling at strangers, making someone laugh, being with really good friends, reading, or having a revelation, a spiritual connection. What are your 5-star moments? And when they happen, I want you to stop and take a breath and just sit in the joy while you whisper out a gratitude. These moments are the things that happen all day, every day, despite us being in difficult spaces or included in us being in the great spaces. They're just always going on, like little pieces of manna from heaven. They happen all day, every day. It's just that we miss them. My life blooms in richness when I am aware of these moments, and yours can too. Every normal day feels rich and magic, supported and blessed. Right now, you can feel that. Now, one of the reasons that we get away from these details is that in our 21st century minds, we have learned to skim everything. There is so much information. We live in information overload. So instead of soaking in the rich details of our lives, we skim the massive amounts of information and happenings around us in order to sort where we want to put our focus. I mean, it makes sense that we do it. But the downside of this type of management is that the details, the magic spaces, the little things become invisible. Research from Ohio State University points out that although adults can beat children at most cognitive tasks, new research shows that children's limitations can sometimes be their strengths. So in 2 studies, researchers found that adults were very good at remembering information that they were told to focus on, but they were also very good at ignoring all the rest of it. In contrast, the 4 to 5-year-olds tended to pay attention to all the information that was presented to them, even when they were told to focus on one particular item. They were able to take in lots of wonderful things going on around them and could remember it and could appreciate it. It's a little bit of proof that being childlike is more of a joyful state. In an article in the HuffPost, Elaine Villorio wrote in her article, The Art of Noticing, quote, "As a whole, we take everything for granted. If encountered frequently enough, people and tasks seem to become mundane and uninteresting. The walk to and from school becomes just another routine trudge. Your grandparents' crankiness and need to talk about their past becomes a nuisance, something you are forced to listen to in order to maintain familial decorum. Your classmates and friends become people that you think you know well, or at least well enough. Your life and everything in your life seems to be relatively well known. Yet life is not like that at all. In fact, life is a wondrous, mysterious thing. Your life is something remarkable, with new things to be discovered every day, every hour, every second, and every minute. Life is so interesting. I absolutely loathe when I see my classmates, colleagues, or friends tweet or talk about how bored they are. How can one be utterly bored in this life? To appreciate this life, one must learn the art of noticing. Noticing is a skill that at first requires effort. You have to have the patience to look a second time or a third time or a fourth time, maybe a millionth time. It never ends because there is always something to catch your attention, and it is okay to falter, to become frustrated, and stop noticing for a while. One must remember, however, to always come back and notice. I'm still quoting Elaine here. And she continues on and shows this great example of a gentleman doing this. She said, "Not too long ago, I stumbled upon a blog titled Walking to Listen by a Mr. Andrew Forsythefel. I probably pronounced that wrong. He's a 23-year-old noticing connoisseur. Andrew decided to start walking across the United States with one motive, to listen. Although Andrew is not the only person to begin this feat, his goal, the goal of listening, struck me as unheard of. And describing the reason for his walk, he writes, quote, "I'm walking the country to listen. There's no such thing as the average Joe, no such thing as boring, uninteresting, or unexceptional life. This walk is to honor that. Life is fast, and I've found it's easy to confuse the miraculous for the mundane. So I'm slowing down, way down, in order to give my full presence to the extraordinary that infuses each moment and resides in every one of us." Unquote. And so he walks and he meets people. He truly meets them and he learns their stories. He learns to see the beauty everywhere he crosses because there is beauty in even the shabbiest places and people, and therefore he notices. Okay, that was the end of Elaine's space. So, as we close up here, joy becomes a moment-by-moment gift. Today, I've been talking about 5-star moments so we can all stop and take stock, reconnect with you and your heart by being in touch with your own delight. Today's podcast is a reminder to savor the moments of your life, the in-between moments, because that's where your personal magic lies. As we start this new year, my wish for all of us is that we find more joy. The beautiful part of this is that no matter how bad or how good our lives are, finding that joy is within our own power. And every day, even amidst the struggles, there are magic moments. Sometimes there's even more of them. By small and simple things, our lives play out, and those who learn to relish the magic moments are the lucky ones who live in joy. And here's the fun part. The more you practice seeing these magic moments, the more of them that you see. It's like they expand and reproduce just because you're paying attention. So you can magnify the joyful moments in your life just by looking for them. Now that's a great way to start 2019, don't you think? Your challenge this week, find your 5-star moments and acknowledge them as they happen. It's not a big deal. It's not taking a bunch of time. It's just find your joy in the daily magic. Once it's a habit, the way you see your story shifts into spaces of fuller joy and recognition of the moments that bring you joy and that you're surrounded by them. Now, I used to try to find a magic moment in every day. It's fun. I'd wait for something wonderful, just a wonderful glimpse of joy. Maybe it was the way my little dog with his little legs would bounce across the grass and how happy that made me just for that moment. Or a phone call from a friend where I just got to laugh and reconnect for maybe 10 minutes. Or maybe it was waking up with that cup of chai tea and just getting to sit there and have my own space and openness into the morning. And then I would claim that. This is my magic moment, I would say to myself. And I just move on letting it soak into my heart. Now I look for more than just one a day. Walt Whitman said, "Happiness, not in another place, but this place. Not for another hour, but this hour." What are you happy about right now? Or stop and look for the sparkle of the sun off the puddle, the glitter, the magic. See it. Find your magic moment for the day, small and simple. Thanks for being here today. Share this episode with someone who could use it. Who do you wish joy upon? See you next week on the Love Your Story podcast, and don't forget to check out the website, www.loveyourstorypodcast.com. We have all the episodes there that you can share all over the place. So many topics, so many stories for making your life better, for getting support and empowerment and inspiration. And also tools, story tools, coaching, ways to reframe your story, the 21 Life Connection challenges for being able to create your best life story going forward, having a program for that. There's lots of things on that website. Thanks for being with us. Thanks for being part of our audience. You guys rock. We'll see you next week.